So many people have wondered or asked, can you make a proper paella without using a paella pan? The short answer to that is absolutely. However, you do need to adjust some of the ingredients and the cooking times in order to get that beautiful texture. You know, when you're using a paella pan, like this one right here, the way they're made, you can see they're a lot bigger than most pans. And this one right here, you serves 2 people, and look how big it is. But they're also a lot thinner, so when you heat them up, a lot of heat goes in there, and it cooks everything evenly and quicker and gives that rice that beautiful texture. When you're using another pan besides a paella pan, like the one we're using today, is a standard frying pan. They're a lot smaller, and they're a lot thicker, so the heat doesn't come in there as fast. No big deal. We just, like I said earlier, adjust the timing and the ingredients to get that beautiful texture. So whether you don't have a paella pan or you can't afford one, this is going to be your guide to making a beautiful Spanish paella using just a standard frying pan that everybody has in their kitchen. Now, really quick, yes, we're not using a paella pan here, but in order to call this a paella, you have to use the right ingredients. The first one is the rice. Make sure that you use round rice, very similar to medium grain rice, which you can find at your supermarket. The second thing is the olive oil. Make sure you use a good quality extra virgin olive oil. This is going to flavor the rice. And last but not least, one of the most important ingredients in a paella, make sure you use some high quality saffron, as this is what gives Spanish paellas that beautiful Mediterranean flavor. As always, I'm using saffron threads from Golden Saffron. You know, you guys always see me using the saffron. Why? Because it's one of the best ones in the market. Truly some grade 1, high quality premium saffron. Link below where you guys can get this. Alright folks, let's get started. So the paella that we're going to be making today is very similar to the classic paella valenciana. The only difference is I'm swapping out the chicken and the rabbit for some yellowfin tuna. Now the ingredients you're going to need for this paella are 4 cloves of garlic that have been finely minced, 20 green beans that I cut into 2-inch pieces, half a cup of frozen lima beans. This is how they sell them here in Spain. They're already cooked. If you can't find them like that in your area, you can just use jarred lima beans. Half of a tomato that I grated, a good quality extra virgin olive oil, 1 cup of round rice. Again guys, very important to use round rice, very similar to medium grain rice. 1 fillet of yellowfin tuna. I cut this into cubes and seasoned with sea salt and black pepper. Some high quality saffron, half a teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, 2 1/4 cups of cold water, 1 sprig of rosemary, and 1 lemon for garnish. And of course, we're also going to be using some sea salt, and I have some freshly cracked black pepper here that I used on the tuna. Alright, let's start cooking our paella. Grab a fry pan, heat it with a medium-high heat, and add a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Now the pan that I'm using is a 10-inch non-stick frying pan, but you can use whatever type of pan that you like. After heating the oil for 2 minutes, I'm going to add the tuna into the pan and start mixing it around with the extra virgin olive oil. We're not going to cook this all the way through, we just want to brown it on all sides. After cooking our tuna for exactly 2 minutes, let's start removing it from the pan. Now if you're using chicken or rabbit in this recipe, you obviously want to cook it much longer. Once you've removed all the tuna, I'm going to add the green beans into the pan and again, mix them around with the extra virgin olive oil. After 3 minutes of cooking our green beans, let's make a well in the middle and add the minced garlic and mix it around with the oil. After cooking our garlic for exactly 1 minute, you don't want to overcook this, you just want it to be fragrant. Let's go ahead and add the grated tomato, the half cup of frozen lima beans, the half teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, and season it with sea salt. And mix this all together until it's well combined. Two minutes later, I'm going to add 2 1/4 cups of cold water, pinch in half a teaspoon of saffron threads, season it with sea salt, and add a sprig of rosemary. And give this a gentle mix, that way everything's evenly distributed. Once this comes to a boil, I'm going to let it boil for an extra minute, that way that saffron and rosemary can really infuse into the water. Then we're going to add the 1 cup of round rice. Again guys, very important to use round rice, very similar to medium grain rice. And then get in there and move the rice around, that way it's evenly distributed throughout the pan. After this point, you don't want to mix the rice again, otherwise it disturbs the way that it cooks, but you can give the pan a quick shake once in a while. 6 minutes after adding the rice into the pan, you can see a lot of that broth is starting to integrate into the rice. Let's go ahead and add the tuna back into the pan and evenly distribute it around. And again, you can always give the pan a quick shake once in a while. It's been a total of 9 minutes since we added the rice into the pan, and you can see that there is not that much broth left. Let's go ahead and lower this to a low-medium heat. And we're going to let this simmer between 3 to 4 minutes. After simmering our rice for about 4 minutes, let's try and achieve that sokora, which is that famous layer of caramelized rice underneath. This is kind of difficult to do without a paella pan, but let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and heat this to a medium-high heat, and we're going to cook it between 3 to 4 minutes. Now when you're trying to achieve sokora in a paella, that caramelized rice underneath, you can usually smell it and you know when it's done. In this fry pan, it doesn't work like the paella pan, so between 3 to 4 minutes should give us that perfect rice. We'll see how it comes out. After 4 minutes, let's remove the pan from the heat, and we'll cover it with a dishcloth. After letting our paella rest for exactly 5 minutes, let's go ahead and uncover it and garnish it with a couple lemon wedges. Okay guys, our paella is done. This looks absolutely beautiful. Let's give it a try and see how it tastes, and also check if we achieved that famous layer of sokora, that caramelized rice underneath. So we didn't achieve the perfect sokora in this paella. We did get some of that caramelized rice, but you know, it depends with a pan. When you're using a paella pan, it's usually done in about 2 minutes. In a frying pan, it usually takes 4 minutes. Now this pan that I used today, this is the first time that I use it to make this paella, and it looks like it needed 1 more minute. So next time I'll just do it for 5 minutes to get that perfect sokora. Either way, let's try this and see how it turned out. That is so good. Are you allowed to cuss on YouTube? Because that is, wow, incredible. Seriously guys, beautiful texture to the paella. That rice is perfect. You know, you can't tell if it's been cooked in a fry pan or a paella pan. That's how good that rice is, and the flavors. This is a very typical paella valenciana, except we swapped out the chicken and the rabbit for the tuna. Beautiful flavors, easy to make. Check it out guys. You can make a beautiful Spanish paella with just your average fry pan. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, smash that subscribe button. Till the next time, hasta luego.